Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at ChatGPT's new feature here from OpenAI that allows us to create GPTs. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create one in a private context, e.g. you're using it for a business or a personal reason. And then I'm going to show you how to create one for a public reason. So we're going to be listing it on the GPT App Store. We're going to see the pros and cons of both, why you would do either one, and essentially the process to creating these ChatGPTs. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that typically this whole page will have a lot more options. You can go and check out that video if you want to see us play around with OpenAI's version. But if you're using it today, or if you've been using it the past couple of days, right now, OpenAI and ChatGPT is experiencing a lot of users. So the platform is a little glitchy right now, as there's a lot of people trying to access the AI at this current moment. So there might be some errors we run into, but we'll make sure we circumnavigate all of that. We're going to go ahead and jump into creating our first GPT here. But one last thing I want to point out here is that I've been getting a lot of new viewership on this channel. So just as a real quick, preface of who I am, my name is Corbin. I'm a full stack AI engineer. We are going to be launching an AI SaaS within this month, finally. And we've been kind of doing a lot of pragmatic and useful use cases using AI. I'm not here just to tell you the news. I'm here to actually show you how to use it and leverage it in your personal or your business life. You can check out our channel here, over 1,000 videos. But let's go ahead and stop, the self-promoting there and just jump in and create a first GPT. So the idea behind this is we're creating specialized versions of ChatGPT that are loaded with data and have context and the ability to do different stuff here. So, as you see right above my head here. So let's go ahead and just dive in. Let's understand the UI. Let's see what we should know before we create a GPT. So starting off here, when you are proctoring and creating a GPT, a lot of times it will actually fill out the name, the description, instructions. So we're going to do that together. You're going to see that live. One thing that is very pertinent and what you should know is that we have the ability to add files here. So I'm going to show you a couple ways we can add files here and use cases. This can be anything, a PDF, Excel sheet, whatever that may be. And then what's really cool here is capabilities. So will we give our GPT the ability to do web browsing? Yes or no? Create images or code interpreter. So this is really cool because basically what this means on a long-term scale for OpenAI is that as they expand their ecosystem, they're probably going to give underlying GPTs more abilities within their ecosystem. As you see here, for example, DALL-E, that's within their ecosystem. Now it's integrated pretty nice into our GPTs. And then finally, this one's huge. This one caught me by surprise. And I'm going to go ahead and move my head here, is the actions one. This is insane. I didn't expect them to do this, but now I can understand why so many startups have failed. This allows us to essentially grab API calls or quote unquote do actions outside of GPT. So for example, if we had the ability to send access Instagram's API or, the ability to do actions on Instagram with software, we could in theory create a GPT that automatically or just pushes out photos for that underlying user's Instagram. Knowing that, I plan on probably doing more advanced tutorials when it comes to this later this month. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see stuff of this nature. In today's tutorial though, we're going to go ahead and build out one in a private context, one in a public context. So the one we're going to build out in the private context, as I see the most value for this, is going to be if you're running a business. Whatever your business may be, whether it's real estate, construction, dentistry, whatever it may be, whatever the niche, digital marketer, whatever it may be, I encourage you to build out a GPT that is trained on your data and trained for your business, as it's going to make operations a lot more easy. So the pseudo company we're going to take the place of today is going to be Tom's Burgers. Let's just say we're located in Santa Monica and proceed. So the way they have this builder is it's very much just chatting with it and basically no code. The only code would come into the adding the actions, but we're going to go here and say, okay, I'm going to move myself so you can actually see the chat here. Let's do right here. I'm in the middle now. Okay. So let me go ahead and do this. And as you see over here, this is where we can test our underlying outputs and inputs. We're going to say, okay, we are a business called Tom's Burgers. We are located in Santa Monica, California. So the reason I'm giving a specific location, obviously if you're a national-wide business, this isn't as pertinent. Maybe it is because you only maybe deal with USA customers and if you're familiar with this channel, context is important. We want to give as much context to this GPT builder as possible. So we're providing Santa Monica, California because we're going to proctor that a little bit later into making this really specialized. We're going to say, okay, we are a business called Tom's Burgers. We are located in Santa Monica, California. We want to make a GPT today that is trained on our business data and helps us be more competitive. What is start something general, but niche specific enough so it kind of understands where we're going. So as you see here, that's our first error as GPT is currently experiencing a lot of usage. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep regenerating this until I get an output here. One thing I'm going to point out as well while I wait for this to work for me is if you are getting frustrated, you can go ahead and check out OpenAI status and just type in OpenAI status on Google and it'll bring you to a page like this. You can subscribe for updates. This is going to tell you what's going on with their API, ChatGPT, and stuff of this nature. As you see right now, we're facing degraded performance. Therefore, it's not going to be as reliable. So it's not a you problem. It's a OpenAI problem. So keep that in mind. I will say this from my past experience. Typically, when large updates come out like this, we experience stuff like this. So this happened when ChatGPT first came out. This is happening now because basically a lot of people are like, "What the heck's going on?" And they usually can fix this within a day or two, and then it'll be back to normal operations. All right, I know I look different. I know I got a different shirt. That just shows you what's going on with AI right now with the usage. But don't worry, we're back at it. It looks like it works for me now. So I'm gonna go ahead and input that original input we had here. This is the beauty of digital content. Who knows? Maybe it's a different day. But here is how it works. So you'll see the GPT builder will have this nice little UI here, which showing us it's updating the use case for the underlying GPT. And we're gonna go ahead and give us a suggested name such as Tom Strategy Chef. Let's go ahead and let's do this. We're gonna say, can we actually rename it to Tom's AI business partner? So this just shows you that this is how conversational it is. This doesn't require you to feel like you need to mitigate the way you talk to it. This is very layman talk. So you don't necessarily have to worry about not putting in the right thing. If anything, if you're worried about putting in the right input, just be very, very blatant with it and be like, hey, how do I do this? Or what's the best way to proceed if I want to achieve a certain function for this context? For here though, as you'll notice, you'll get different suggestions that are automatically inputted. So if I go over to configure over here, it's going to put in the name automatically, the description, and then finally the instructions. So what you need to understand is that the name and the description are purely for you. They don't actually change the way that the GPT interacts with you during a conversation. But the instructions, that is how GPT is slowly fine-tuning itself for your specific use case. Therefore, the most important thing you need to understand is that this is what makes your GPT work and functionally work. This is just purely for not aesthetic, but just, that's what that's the bot. That's what it does. And as you see here, based off our input so far, it's giving me these 4 options. Now, you also have the option here to either upload a photo or use DALL-E. And, it gave me this photo here. I don't really like it. Let's go ahead and try something like this. Can we change our profile image to a burger on the beach? Think retro. So you can do whatever you want here. I can say think minimalistic, make it look like an OpenAI logo, make it look like Apple logo, like whatever it may be. Just be very, very, casual with it. And we should get a picture of a burger on a beach in a retro style. I like it. I really like it. It always impresses me. Like you feel like it's not going to be that good, but it always impresses me when it does stuff like that. So here's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and fine tune this a little bit more. We're going to say we want to use this in the context of needing advice, strategy, and other things for our business. I can't spell business. We are located in Santa Monica region. Therefore, before answering questions, please make sure the responses are relevant to our niche. We want to make sure it's lasered in. I mean, I don't care about how burger stands are doing in Texas. I don't care about how burger stands are doing in New York. I care about how they're doing in my specific region as a restaurant. Obviously, this can apply to any industry, right? So as you see here, it's going to further prompt to me, and we're going to get a conversational-like dialogue here. So it's going to say, certainly, what aspect of your business would you like to focus on first to strategic advice? Would it be menu, marketing, customer engagement, or perhaps local partnerships? So in theory here, I could say all. In theory here, I could tailor it just for a specific use case. So maybe I'm really weak when it comes to my marketing. So I could say, let's tailor to marketing. So now I've kind of just fine-tuned it a little bit, maybe too niche for your use case. If you want to use this as a general GPT for your business, I wouldn't suggest you doing what I just did right there. I'd suggest you doing more of a prompt that says, let's just do everything. And just to show you how you can do that, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to say, actually, let's make it so this GPT can help me with everything to do with my business. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And in theory, if I had a PDF of the menu, that'd be great. But I'm gonna go ahead and upload 2 relevant PDFs for what we can use in today's use case. It's gonna be one is gonna be a financial PDF, and then the second one is going to be a PDF that is a study for basically market projection for restaurants to 2030. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and train you on some of our business data. Here are our financials. So I'm going to go ahead and before I upload it, I'm going to show you both documents we're going to upload here today. So whatever your specific company is, you can go ahead and upload information like this. So this is just a fake income statement, but we're going to assume this is Tom's Burgers income statement here with all this relevant information. The other thing we'll be uploading here is going to be a study for our specific industry here, which is going to be restaurants. Now, in theory, I think in the future, it'll be able to handle larger file sizes like this. I think, honestly, probably within a couple of days it will, just because the usage is so high right now. I'm going to upload like certain pages from this document, but essentially, this is a research study for restaurants and what we should know coming up to 2030. Therefore, this is relevant to my industry. So in your context, especially let's say you're doing real estate in Florida, upload relevant documents that you care about that would be very, very helpful in the context of your real estate business. I mean, this can get crazy here. You can upload past client data, do a lot of interesting stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump back over to your GPT. So before I'm gonna go and copy this so it doesn't disappear on me. So before I upload it to this chat here, which is be right here, in theory, I could upload it to here as well. So keep that in mind. Other thing, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off DALL-E image creation. I don't really need images. Actually, I might need images. We can maybe do some marketing with that. We got code interpreter here. It's not too relevant, but because we're gonna do numbers and we're gonna deal with Excel sheets, you wanna keep that on because that helps you do more advanced math and helps you in that nature. And web browsing is always amazing because then we can kind of gut check it on relevant data that's happening now rather than up to what it is trained on, which is April 2023 of this moment. So coming over here, I'm gonna go ahead, there we go. See, I knew it was gonna disappear. I'm gonna go ahead and upload our Excel sheet. So for your reference, you wanna use Microsoft Excel. It doesn't really like certain file types. I know it doesn't like Mac OS pages or I think it's or numbers. It doesn't like numbers, so know that. Okay, so okay, let's go ahead and train you on some of business data. Here's our financials so far. Hit send message here. So what it does now is that it'll know and it's gonna be fine-tuned. So every single time I have a chat with it, it's gonna understand that in, I think it's like 2019, 2020, this is the kind of money we made. This is how we divulged our finances. And we can use that as, tax season comes up or different information of that nature. We can understand, we can kind of talk to this in the context of financials now that it knows our financials. So as you see here, the financials data from Tom Burger statement from year ending December 2020, December 2019. Let's clean the data to ensure we are working with accurate financial information for training. That's super cool here. I mean, this is why we love GPT. This gives me remnants of when it first came out. There was a thing called Auto GPT, but this looks a lot more effective. Now it has it stored in its data system to understand our financials. Okay, so now we're making a fine tune. This is why this is gonna be private, right? We don't want people in the public markets to get access to Tom's AI business partner. From here though, and it just keeps going. But what I'm gonna do next here is I'm gonna load some research reports that I showed you to then maybe fine tune this a little bit more on relevant information that I care about for my private bot. Okay, so as you see there, it says, if you have specific questions or need analysis of certain financial aspects, feel free to ask. Perfect. Okay, we also want to upload some market research reports on our industry. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and attach that. And one thing I wanna point out is, if you're not interested in the private side, you can go ahead and skip over to the public app that we're gonna release on the App Store. You can kind of see how we build that. But I'm gonna go ahead and upload those files real quick. So out of that huge PDF, I went ahead and grabbed 3 major pages. We got operations, restaurant stats, and cloud kitchens. And I'm gonna go ahead and just hit enter here. This is gonna load it into our specific chatbot here to make it a lot better when dealing with this kind of stuff. So as you'll notice here, this isn't like pseudo. This isn't like nothing's happening. It straight up says, I will now review the reports and extract pertinent information to integrate GPT's knowledge base. Let's start by extracting the first report on operations. Please hold on a moment while I process the document. And it does it live here. I mean, the stuff we're seeing here, when GPT first came out, this is why a lot of startups died, because a lot of startups were trying to make fine-tuned chatbots for specific business needs. Now, that being said, if you can sell this as a service, of course, but that is why, is because OpenAI just kind of just said, no, this is our market. If you want to do AI, do it in a more innovative aspect rather than just doing another chatbot. We own the chatbots. That's fine, OpenAI, own the chatbots. But would you like to review the other reports? For now, I'm going to say no. But if we come over to configure, as you'll see here, it will be followed up here. And this is actually, I didn't even know it did this. This is cool. So we got knowledge is right here, and the following files are only available on Code Interpreter. So it actually separates it. So basically, if you're doing knowledge, text-based files, image-based files, you'll see it be a knowledge base. And then if you're doing files that have numbers in it, like Excel sheets and just stuff of this nature, it's going to be by Code Interpreter. So keep Code Interpreter enabled if you plan on doing that kind of stuff. Rule of thumb, keep them all enabled. Why not? So now that we've kind of done most of this, I'm going to go ahead and actually publish it. Let's go ahead and play around with it a little bit, see what it can do. So I'm going to come over here to save, and I can either make it public or only people with the link. So maybe you can save it to, save it, and then people within your business can start using it. Keep in mind, though, if that link gets out, then everyone's going to use it. But I can finally put it to only me, which is really cool. So I'm going to do confirm here. Now that I've confirmed it, it opens up here. And as you see it, my stuff's working now. So if I go over here to explore, this is some of the stuff I've been creating as of last night, to be honest with you. But let's go over to Tom AI's business partner. Now, this is a private GPT bot. The other ones were public, or now public. So first thing I want to do, because the reason I kept Dally on is I'm actually curious about this. Let's go. I could, in theory, actually, we're going to do that. Let me go to grab a picture of a fake branding and basically let it interpret it. Okay, so if you want to see the power of AI, and if you're familiar with this channel, you already know we can do this. So I got a random picture of a burger stand here. I know the quality is not amazing, but AI can actually read images now. It can look at images. If you upload a PDF of images in it, it can actually internalize what's going on in the image. So knowing this, I'm going to say this is my current branding, but I want to change it. Also, give me an example of a new design using Dali. Let's go to upload it first. Oh, I got to move myself. Let me come back over here. I'm going to say, okay, this is our current, let me actually click out right here. Okay, this is our current branding. Please look at it. We actually want to transition to more of a retro, I'm gonna do something random here, cyberpunk theme. Can you give me multiple examples using DALL-E of mockups? I have no clue what this is about to do, but let's see. This is super cool. So uploaded the image, our quote unquote burger stand here, and let's see what it does here. So this has been trained on our data. This knows that we're in Santa Monica. It knows that, I mean, it's actually looking at the image. This is pretty insane if you think about it. And you think about in 2019, did you think AI was gonna be able to do this? Maybe at a government level, but not at this level. So notice how it takes the structuring of the original, and it thinks we're a booth. So it thinks we're a booth. It took that into account, and we put it in a booth, and it gave us Tom's, kick-ass is in the word, so that makes sense. Actually, red kick-ass, Tom's kick-ass burgers, and then, here's a mock-up. Okay, give me an example. I have no clue if it's going to be able to do this, of what the menu would look like. This is going to be really good or really bad, but at least you can kind of see the potential now, right? This is going to be cool. I have no clue what's going to happen right here, but if this comes out, I have no clue. Not bad. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get an exact menu, but this is a possible mock-up of the menu for a cyberpunk retro burger restaurant. So let's go ahead and ask maybe a more specific question here, trained on the data. Let's just see, based on the knowledge we have the industry, what would be a great addition to the menu that is for the Southern California crowd and fits with our theme? Let's see what it does. Okay, street tacos. If you've been to LA, you definitely know street tacos. Those are amazing. Okay. Augmented reality burgers. Each burger could come with a QR code that is scanned when scanned with a smartphone, shows an AR overlay of the burger being made in high-tech virtual kitchen. That's crazy. I mean, it's a little gimmicky, but it's cool. I mean, I didn't even think of something like that. But for now though, I could probably dive a little bit deeper into financial context because we provided financial numbers and kind of proceed from here. But now you know essentially how we create a private app in the context of GPTs for your specific business as we train it on our business data. So let's go and jump over and create a public app and see how we would kind of approach that. All right, so we're gonna come back over here. We're gonna create a new GPT here, and the public one we're gonna create today is gonna be a fitness dietitian. So we're gonna load it with data about different meal plans, stuff of this nature. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the data first. We're gonna jump in, we're gonna build it out, and we're gonna make it public. Okay, so I went ahead and just scoured through the internet trying to find like free PDFs that give like diet tips and structures of this way. So I got three. So I got a low carb diet meal plan menu that can save your life, supposedly. My 30-day healthy lifestyle eating plan. This is pretty in-depth here, but it gives a lot of good information on healthy food. And then finally, this one, which aesthetically looks a lot better. But as you know, GPT can actually understand what those images are. Pretty crazy stuff. So let's go ahead and jump back over to our ChatGPT here and build it out. We're going to say, we want to build out a fitness dietitian that can be used for everyone to start eating better. Let's just put it out there. Let's just start narrowing down the scope of what we care about. While that is updating, one other thing I want to point out is that instructions part in configure, in theory, you could write that yourself. All we're doing here is basically on the front end, we're basically having it created with our layman talk. But if you're really good at prompt engineering, in theory, in that little section here, which I'll show after, we could create that instructions ourselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and scope configure real quick. This right here just popped in, but this right here, in theory, could be written out by yourself, as you see here. But for now, I'm gonna keep using ChatGPT in the context of just talking to it. All right, so we got great. We are crafting a GPT that will serve as a fitness dietitian. To make it more personal, let's give it a name, Healthy Habits Helper. That sounds fine. We're gonna say, yes, that works. Perfect. And then it probably will prompt me to get an image here for the profile. Now, originally when this first came out, I'm usually inclined not to use AI images for this kind of, profile image and stuff like that. But man, DALL-E 3 is like really, really solid. It just takes you talking to it a little bit and it will actually generate images that look pretty on point. Now, one thing I want to point out as well when it comes to image generation, I mean, that's amazing, is I'm pretty sure there's certain copyright infringement. So you can't do generate image of SpongeBob, or Shrek, stuff like this. You can't really do, but so far so good, right? Amazing Apple, amazing name. It has the 3 iterations of H. So let's go and proceed here. We're going to say, okay, here is some studies around healthy eating. Actually, before I'm going to load it a different way. So instead, I'm actually going to add it to just its knowledge base, and all I have to do is click upload file. Now, if you're having issues with uploading these files, and sometimes it's just a lot of errors, it's probably because this file size is too big. It's either because there's too much usage right now, or they're just limiting to how big of a file can be. But right now, those 3 went in perfectly fine. Now we got a knowledge base. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back over to the create here. We're going to say, based on our new knowledge base, please use that as reference for conversations if deemed needed. So now I'm going to teach you how to structure our ChatGPT or GPT on how to interact with users. This is very powerful stuff here. So one, we're going to tell it to do how to behave when certain inputs occur. So let's go ahead and find out how we do that. So our use case here is we're going to say we want to build diet plans if deemed needed by the user's input. Oh, my bad, y'all. Let me move myself to the middle. If deemed needed, I'm usually used to ChatGPT being over there, but if deemed needed by user's input, please search the web for the most relevant information from credible sources and please cite. So this is important for you to understand, because what we just inherently did to this GPT is now it knows in certain contexts you have the go ahead to search the internet to provide more information to help the underlying user. Therefore, we've created a behavior that at scale, when a bunch of people use it, are going to be like, wow, that's actually really cool. I didn't even have to ask it to search the internet, and it does it inherently. What should the healthy habits emphasize or avoid when providing advice about information? Reference our knowledge base for this, because I'm honestly not a dietitian, so I have no clue. I'm gonna refer to the knowledge. When I say knowledge base, those are the files we uploaded. So let's go to keep pushing here. Code interpreter might not be too important here, but I'm going to keep it enabled for the context that a user maybe provides weight and there's certain numbers that need to be calculated. That is why we would keep think of code interpreter just ideal with math. What kind of personality voice when interacting with users would you want? A formal, casual, motivational, or perhaps mixed? This is what's cool here, right? So I'm gonna just say this. Basically, this is just to show you the potential. What to say? Motivational and sarcastic. That probably is not the best combo, but just to show you what it can do stuff like that. We're gonna have a motivational but sarcastic healthy habits helpers. If you got a good humor, you'll probably like using this maybe to like a very professional version of this GPT, but we'll just keep it at that just so it's funny. Would you like to try in the playground and let me know if you anything adjust? Okay, let's try one other thing here. Before a user uses this GPT, let's understand their weight, or let's understand key features about their physical body that is deemed needed for this context and their goals. Let's see if we can do this. This will be very, very powerful. If essentially every time I use this, it proctors me to find out who I am before it even, you could actually make a private one. You could probably make a private trainer too, provide like information like that. To get started with helping someone, what kind of initial questions? We're going to say, ask what is your height, gender, and weight. We're going to do that because that's standard stuff when it comes to physical health, and kind of proceed from here. Now, knowing this, there's a lot of not conflict, but how do I say this? Different studies that are done based off, this diet's better, this, whatever. So in theory, you could basically make this bias to say one thing's better than the other in this context. So keep that in mind. Actually, keep that in mind genuinely when you're using GPTs in the store. These could be very biased. Whatever the context may be, they may be biased on purpose or on accident, but these can be biased. So in theory, I could be like, hey, no matter what they say, the paleo diet's best. Just encourage the paleo diet. From here, though, let's go ahead and just jump in here. It says, would you like to test it? Okay, yeah. Let's just go ahead and jump in here. So this is the playground here. So as you see here, we got our 4 questions based off our information. Let's just say, can you suggest a healthy snack? And then we can kind of play around with it here rather than me having to launch it live and jumping in on the GPT side. So let's see. Absolutely, for a healthy snack, you might want to combine a good balance of protein, healthy fats, carbs. How about a small apple with 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter? It's satisfying, offering a mix of nutrients. Okay, can we make a diet plan specific to me? Let's see what it does here. I'm going to jump back over here, y'all. What did I say? All right, perfect. So we got, can you please share your height, gender, and weight? All right. I am 6'1", male, and 195 pounds. I know, American. Okay, I get it. We use pounds, all right? And we use feet and inches. All right, great. Thanks for giving your height, weight. You're assuming you look for balance science. Okay. This is cool. So it automatically calculated my assumed 2,500, 2,800 calories. That is based off, I believe it's like, oh yeah. So it's like basically if you weigh 195, you should be getting 1 protein for every pound you have. I don't know why this video just turned into a nutritionist video, but this is just giving you an example of what's possible here. This looks good here. I'm going to go ahead and stop the generation here and kind of, this is good. So we're going to launch here. We're going to go ahead and put this to public, confirm. And now this will be able to be accessed by users across the ecosystem found in ChatGPT. Now, right now, the store doesn't look live, and you'll see there right as well. There's gonna be a lock. If it's private and public, you'll see this. This is gonna be basically how many people are using the chat. And right now, they don't have the store, open, of course. But when the store does come open, the people are gonna be able to use it. But it seems like the way this is gonna circulate long term is essentially you would be kind of like how you would share links now in ChatGPT. It seems like you would share this as its own link, and therefore a new user would start his chat. Therefore, that being said, last thing you should understand is that when creating these GPTs, Sam Altman did say that the ones that are deemed to be most popular, e.g. probably the ones that have the most people using it, so that's like 20,000 or something like that, are going to get paid. I don't know what that is. I don't know the context behind that, but if you're familiar with Snapchat and what Snapchat did when it came to ads and creators, I wasn't a part of this wave, but Snapchat was paying creators ridiculous amounts of money for just using their platform and posting on stories and stuff like this. So I assume it's early days and they basically want to encourage as much people to use their platform as possible. I assume that whoever they find and deem to have the most popular GPTs, they're probably going to pay out a very fat sum. But without further ado, that kind of covers today's video. So make sure you leave a like if you felt like you learned value today. If you like this kind of video, you should check out the one that I pointed out in the very beginning of this, which is us jumping into just to like these regular OpenAI ones. And then if you really like this, make sure to subscribe. What we do on this channel is we give pragmatic ways to use AI. As you'll probably have noticed by now, these videos aren't really edited. It isn't like B-roll here, fancy music here, explosion here. That's done on purpose. The point of these videos isn't for you to not learn something. The point of every single one of my videos is to give you pragmatic, real-life use cases, especially from the perspective of a full-stack AI engineer, someone in this field, and someone that actually isn't necessarily just spewing out more hot air. But without further ado, I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for tuning in. And yes, surprise, I'm an AI avatar. Make sure to explore more here at Corbin AI, where we demystify AI for your personal and business life. Until next time.